Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow. That's my best impression.
That was might as well be that. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, Javier Bardem in this movie reminded me quite a bit of Paul Giamatti as the Rhino in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Hey, Spider-Man, how you doing? Doc Battle. Doc Battle. He's being rocketed towards Jack Sparrow on a stream of water. Same kind of character and the same kind of response to that character in the end.
Pirates have alteration spells, man. They can run on water and stuff. It's awesome.
Normally it would be awesome, but
I mean, well, when you have all of your mystique around this guy who's like always in the dark shadow, with the lighting's perfect, and then he's running across the fucking ocean with all his parts kind of missing,
perfectly lit.
Yeah, perfectly lit.
It's sort of like it's sort of like if you put the xenomorph on a sandy white beach and in the daylight.
Yeah, like you can see the sun reflecting off your shiny carapace. You know, I still see you. Yeah.
So yeah, Pirates 5, Dead Men Tell No Tales. I didn't see the fourth Pirates movie, so I'm not quite sure how much.
You didn't?
I did not.
Oh, for some reason, I remembered seeing it with you.
No, I did not see the. I did not see the. Fourth.
We saw all the other ones together.
I believe so.
Except the first, not the
Curse of the Black
second and third.
We saw the second and third together. But
we even had the Disneyland pirate swords. I'm embarrassed to say, and now everybody knows.
but I've only seen 4 of the 5, which on recollection is too many. But I don't know how. So keep that in mind when I say this next part. Pirates 5 is the worst Pirates movie so far.
Are you expecting an argument?
No, I'm not. I'm not expecting an argument. I'm expecting to either you to corroborate having seen all of the Pirates movies. So therefore,
Well, you asked. I know that we don't talk much before these things, but you.
I did.
You did put it plainly. Is this the worst one?
No, I asked you if this was worse than the fourth one because I hadn't seen the fourth one.
Okay.
So,
well, the answer is yes. Was yes. That it is worse than the fourth one. The fourth one, it had. I have a weak spot for sirens,
mermaids, Egypt.
Mermaids of the murderous sort.
Egypt, mermaids. Celtic lore.
It goes back to Greek or Egyptian mythology.
Sure. Celtic lore.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, when you put it that way, it looks like kind of a lot that I'm interested in, actually.
Well, the mythology surrounding the most interesting thing about the Pirates movies, and also the albatross across the series' neck, is its infatuation with the maritime legends.
Yeah.
Like you have the Kraken was awesome in the second and third one. The prospect of like mythological creatures and ghosts is.
So it's basically the pirates of everywhere.
Well, it's amazing like how all the goddamn like magical parts of the sea are all concentrated within this little pocket of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers! Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler. Because I'm not going to give any shits.
Spoilerific discussion, but if you're going to take anything away from this conversation, it's that this
sucks.
Really fucking dumb.
No, Johnny Depp's not turning his career around.
This is a dumb action movie, and if you want that, there are better dumb action movies in theaters now. So
was it worse than Alien Covenant?
Different kind of dumb. At least this didn't. At least this was a fun kind of dumb for a kernel of it.
I think I enjoyed Alien.
No, you take that back.
I think I did. I enjoyed Alien Covenant.
No,
I did.
Alien.
I did.
Oh fuck.
Oh yeah, I did. I did because it was almost enjoyable to pick that shit apart.
Well,
this one was just it was like there was no controversy. It was another Pirates film. It was like here's shit on a plate. Tell me, does it taste like shit? Yeah, it still tastes like shit.
Pirates 5 at least has inventive action scenes, stuff I have never seen before in live action movies, or even animated. I mean, I can appreciate that, and I can realize like how much work had to go into actually shooting something like that, and in order to actualize it, I can respect the movie for doing that. It's still dumb as hell. Ain't no such kind of scene inside of fucking Alien Covenant.
There was Javier Bardem, but that's a tongue twister. Javier Bardem
Bardem.
Or Bardem.
Yeah.
Sorry, Javier Bardem.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he's having fun and not caring, he does a good job. So there is that to take away from this.
In a role that could be as embarrassing as Fassbender's role in Alien Isolation, Alien Covenant, he didn't emerge no worse for wear, whereas Fassbender did.
Yeah, you bet he did. But this was not as bad for me as Alien Covenant. Or sorry, was worse for me than Alien Covenant. Don't you dare put that in bold writing. Like, this was not as bad.
This was so you're taking back what you said.
Yeah, I'm taking no. I said it in reverse because I constantly do that. That's
you're after all this, you're still saying Alien.
I'm still saying Alien Covenant was not as bad as this, and it's maybe a little biased because it's a Johnny Depp film. It's a sore spot for me, as we know. But there was also the fact that I read a little bit about stuff that went on, what happened behind the scenes before this movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out, from where I read that Johnny Depp apparently was not interested in the original script because it had a female villain. And when, questioned about this by the director, apparently it was because his reasoning was that there was a female villain in Dark Shadows. That's it. Apparently having no female villain throughout the entire Pirates of the Caribbean 5-parter is a completely different thing than having a female villain in a completely different genre. That was like, how many years ago was that?
Dark Shadows?
5 years? 4 years?
It might have been 2012, I want to say. It might have been 2013. 2012, 2013. No, but nobody saw Dark Shadows.
Yeah. Saying, Dark Shadows had a female villain and I was in it. You can't have a female villain in any of the Pirates movies because of this. What the fuck, Johnny Depp?
There is no good reason to not want a female villain in your movie. Especially if you're acting opposite of that, I'm guessing the only way he could have tried to save face is that he could have said, I don't want to be filmed with me punching a woman or something like that.
I mean, it still wouldn't sound great at all, but it would be, I guess, this would make
that would be at least, that would be like misguided chivalry.
Yeah, it would be like, okay, Johnny Depp has a thing.
Yeah.
But this doesn't make any bloody sense.
Bloody sense? What are you, British now?
I don't know what I am anymore.
Not after this movie, at least. But okay, can we let's lay it out here. Dumbest part of this movie are our two main leads. Our new, after I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Johnny Depp returned as Jack Sparrow in the 4th movie, and the movie pretty much centered around him, right?
Oh, when does it not?
Oh, it doesn't?
No, I said, when does it not around?
But my point is like, in the 5th movie kind of returned back to the first 3 movies, is that where they realized that Jack Sparrow was better as a flavor character than the actual main character. Yeah. So the plot really isn't about him trying to overcome a curse, Javier Bardem's curse. It's really actually about Orlando Bloom's kid trying to break the Davy Jones curse from him and realizing, hey, we could do that because of the trident of Neptune. The trident of Uranus, not Uranus. Poseidon. So they went with the Greek name.
Oh, sorry, Neptune. I think it was Neptune.
It was Neptune and Poseidon, respectively. But
I think it was in this movie they went with Neptune. Not that.
No, I think they went with Poseidon.
Did they go with Poseidon?
Yeah, they went with Poseidon. So now we literally have a connection between Orlando Bloom, who shows up for about 5 minutes of this movie, and so does somebody else, but I think we're going to hold off on that.
Yeah.
But the movie basically copies almost beat for beat the sins of the father.
But seriously, the ending that we're going to get to is so fucking contrived and stupid.
Yeah, it's a crown jewel.
We would just start with that to give you the movie in a nutshell, but we'll.
I think we need to build up to that one. The crown jewel, it is the crown jewel of stupid in its headdress. But so we're repeating this exact same sins of the father. Bootstrap Bill and his son, and the weight of what he's done is on his son. Oddly enough, Stellan Skarsgård, who apparently is not in this movie.
No.
Like, if you remember the third movie ending, he just kind of sails off with Stellan Skarsgård just kind of hanging on. It's like, I guess we just have to be on the Flying Dutchman from now on. Except now Stellan Skarsgård is just completely gone from the movie. Just absolutely poof. Into the ether. He's gone. Never even mentioned.
Maybe he stepped on land.
Who knows?
No, really. That's the thing. If you step on land, you're obliterated instantly.
Yeah, but apparently Javier Bardem's curse is the exact same one on the Curse of the Flying Dutchman.
So we find out that they are obliterated by stepping on land, like completely dust, like Prometheus or Covenant style with the black goo. Just so apparently the ship comes to shore. They get off the ship. This is all sounding very much like Pirates. Too, but
they're repeat. It's the same story, isn't it?
And one of them goes too far. It's like dust,
and
I'm thinking, oh, but they already knew that. One of them was being stupid, but they already knew that. So I'm like, who was the first guy who somebody had to have gone on shore at some point for them to know that? They don't just know the rules. So it must have been his father. I guess they just didn't tell him that his grandfather was pretty unfortunate.
No, because his grandfather didn't serve on that Spanish galleon that was cursed. His grandfather was still in the Flying Dutchman, or at least he would be.
Still, they had to find out somehow too. So he was probably the guy.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I didn't know we couldn't do that. Well, I'm so glad we stopped here in the surf.
Yeah. He was always brave.
But going back to the repeat of the plot, it's even worse now. That if you go back to watch The Curse of the Black Pearl, you'll realize just how much Orlando Bloom is asked to carry the movie. Versus, everyone remembers Johnny Depp, basically dipsy doodling all across the...
Johnny Depp, you're a monkey. Coins. Dance!
Of course everyone focuses on Johnny Depp dipsy doodling all throughout the set, and that's what they remember from the movie. And Jeffrey Rush as Barbossa. But if you go back to that first movie, especially that first movie, you realize how much goddamn Orlando Bloom is trying to keep this cohesion together. And even though he isn't the greatest screen presence, and he really can't hold a scene together, that was probably his best effort in trying to do just that. I mean, if you really think about it, when was the last time you saw Orlando Bloom be cast as a lead? Every single movie that he was in high profile, he was always like a Legolas. Or he was, even though stories about him...
You know that thing where I go off about a movie that I don't know the name of, nor who starred in it, and we play that game where you try to do all of the heavy lifting, try to figure out what the fuck I'm talking about. So we're going to do that. I did start a movie with Orlando Bloom where he... I don't know what the rest of it was because I stopped because I didn't enjoy it very much, but it was a long time ago, and he plays this guy who is trying to kill himself in the beginning, and he sets up this contraption of a gym bicycle, stationary bicycle. He has one for exercise, and he sets a knife on it so that he can pedal it to stab himself. That's his way of trying to commit suicide. And of course he doesn't go through it.
Yeah, I'm just...
Well, anyway, if that doesn't ring any bells, then sorry, but he's the lead in that, and whatever that movie was,
obviously
was a thing.
Obviously, it was not Pirates big or Lord of the Rings
no,
big.
It was not.
He's
the point is he's done something.
In that way, Will Turner, casting Will Turner with Orlando Bloom is kind of a stroke of genius because you know him, he's very recognizable, but he is best when he's just in the background, and that's exactly what these stories are supposed to be structured at. The new guy, his son, who's basically playing the exact same plot, isn't anywhere near as memorable as Orlando Bloom, and even more bland, if you could even believe it. And he's paired up with this movie's version of Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley, and I swear I've seen her face somewhere before, but...
Yeah, she just looks familiar, not just because of... She doesn't look like Keira Knightley. She's just same role.
Yeah, but the exact same role. But these two are insufferable together. They are just smarmy and insufferable and bland and just horribly written characters.
I thought that maybe in the end it was going to turn out they were siblings, and then it was going to be like, oh, that's why you guys argue so much.
No. I mean, like, this movie has a bad case of the Star Wars syndrome, which we'll get to in a bit. Very, very bad case of the Star Wars syndrome, but nothing so weird. Nothing that.
No.
Although I would have probably liked it better if they had been brother and sister. Not because of what they do, but just because I would have liked to see them try to deal with that. It's like, oh, I was gonna, like, put this in there. Oh, no.
Not my sister. Not my brother.
No.
Not doing anything. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like these characters are insufferable, and unfortunately, the actual heart of the plot, this jumbled mishmash rat's nest of a plot, hinges on her character.
This is coming off of Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I know. Like it's trust me.
2.5 hours
go to-
as well, by the way.
Go to a Pirates movie to turn what should be a fun maritime sea adventure into this labyrinthine primer-like goddamn plot. I can't remember any of these goddamn characters' names, except, like, I'm just gonna say it, like, she's Barbossa's daughter, because...
I thought she was going to end up being Johnny Depp's daughter.
No fucking way were they gonna go with that.
I know, Johnny Depp wouldn't allow because then he wouldn't be the, like, you know...
That he'd be old.
Yeah.
Even though, funnily enough, they established that at least 20 years has passed since the end of the third movie and the beginning of the fifth movie. Johnny Depp does not look 20 years older as
yeah, you know, Johnny
Jack Sparrow.
Depp can't allow that to happen. Now, Johnny Depp can subsequently do a movie where he plays like an old, disheveled, ugly guy, just so that he can point out that he does those roles and how edgy he is because he does. And so he can go back to being handsome again, and it seems like he's such a deep motherfucking
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp in a Pirates movie. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I get it.
So much depth.
Ooh,
But
baby, I love your waves.
Barbossa's daughter, like, she's the one who's driving the story forward because she's the one who has the means.
Yeah.
She has the means to find Poseidon's lance. Even though even though Orlando Bloom's son has, like, the quote unquote spark that starts the story, he's going to try to break him free of the Dutchman's curse, and that just, like, that begins the movie and that ends the movie. But, like, everything in between, there's, like, why is he in this movie again? It's just, what is he doing? He just sort of, like, especially at the beginning of the movie, where he just sort of, like, lucks his way into fucking everything. He just so happens to be on a ship that's going to the Devil's Triangle, where he meets Javier Bardem, who tells him to go find Jack Sparrow, when he wakes up in a hospital, apparently in the surf.
So he's stealing a bank in the beginning.
Yeah, he's
stealing a giant box and a vault. And so they're like, to set up these things for, be it jokes or anything else, is so formulaic. Like, hey everyone, crowd, you know, we have this impenetrable vault that nobody could ever get into. Look at how thick it is. It's like 2 feet of steel. It's like, oh, yes. I wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and the vault opens, and
there's Johnny Depp inside, drunk on his ass,
drunk on his ass, having apparently slept with the mayor's wife.
Oh, look, it's the mayor's wife in there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because he's just such a bachelor. Anyway.
Hey, what a lad. But, so, even though he has the drive to start this whole plot, it's really Barbossa's daughter who not only who has a map, who somehow got her hands on a map that points out to Poseidon's lance, but apparently she can read it because no man can read the map. Oh, but a woman can. Going back to Lord of the Rings, I am no man.
Yeah.
But but what really chaps my hide and your hide too is that she's this insufferable, like, oh, it's not scientific, all right. You know, like,
okay, so she's a woman of science,
mm-hmm.
which is already to them like, oh my god, that's
she's
unheard of.
So,
so they're like, oh, you're a witch. She's like, I'm not a witch. I'm a woman of science. Like, I'm an astronomer, or I'm well, apparently a horologist, but we'll get into that. But to put it simply, she's a scientist, and it turns out that she actually has a magic book. And only she can read it, and she's trying to find a magic trident with the book. That's a lot of magic there, and, compared to anybody else who doesn't have any of that, you're kind of a witch. right? Like, that's not science, that's magic.
And don't go on to this tirade about like how ghosts can't exist when you have a magic book that you know that you can't read only because you're a woman. Try to explain that with science, and you're after a magical trident. This does not occur to you?
So what they end up doing is they say, "Oh, you're a witch. We need to get rid of you. We need to kill you." And so they, it's like we're gonna hang you. And when she escapes, it's like, okay, bring in this other real witch, and she's going to help us figure out what this pattern on my wall means. And we're going to figure out what this other person who was a witch was trying to tell us free of pay originally. So, what? Like, you had a fucking witch who was going to explain everything to you, probably just for free. And now you're paying a witch, I guess, to tell you something. What?
Like, that witch character, the actual witch character, is the single biggest plot convenient bullshit ink blot on this entire script.
I honestly think that she was the original villain from the original script for this movie, and that after doing bits with her and stuff, they're like, "Oh fuck, looks like Depp isn't too keen on this for whatever fucking reason, Dark Shadows, whatever." And so we're still gonna keep you. Don't worry, you're gonna be a big part of this movie.
I have no inkling as to the shooting schedule of this movie.
She had like 7 minutes at most.
One would hope they would not start production without getting Depp on board, but I wouldn't know. I mean, I've heard of weirder shooting schedules, but
probably not. Probably not.
They probably
maybe she was the same person they were going to cast.
I think like, they might have retooled that. They probably retooled that character. He went from villainous to like completely like perfunctory like plot convenient bullshit.
Yeah, because the amount of design around her costuming and tattooing and everything, and it really felt like that they had more planned for this character. And
then she just kind of like right into the ether.
And before you get into that, I have my ways.
Oh god. So the whole let's actually attach ourselves to this a little bit. So Depp is all like Sparrow is off on his luck. He has no treasure. His crew abandons him after their safe heist goes completely tits up and they lose all the gold. In an actually pretty fun scene in which they're dragging this entire building along.
I wanted to mention that too. So the vault gets stuck in like this house, and for some reason, to try to get the vault away from Johnny Depp, they draw it to a bunch of horses, and they end up taking the whole house and the vault by horseback with 6 horses?
Yeah, about 6 horses.
Pulling the whole house and the vault with horses.
Right, that's the kind of shit that I liked pirates for, right?
I guess, that's stupid.
It's stupid as fuck, but you're not going to see that in a freaking Transformers movie. You're certainly not going to see that in any kind of DC Extended Universe movie. I mean, it's inventive, it's fun, you're not going to see it in any other movie, so I'm on board. I mean,
that's like, having dueling on top of 2 rolling wheels.
Exactly that.
I mean, you really both could just say, let's just hop off the wheels and have a fight.
Exactly.
At any time.
At any time, of course, but where's the fun in that? Just that... Alright, I could turn my brain off for, really, really ham-handed bullshit like that, because it means seeing an entire building being dragged along the city streets by horseback. You know what? Fuck it. I'll turn my brain off for that. I mean, if we're gonna have our, have something stuck in our craw over a scene like that, then we also have to rescind our praise for Fast and Furious 7 with the whole building to building.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Both are equally ridiculous, and both are really, really dumb. But damn, if you aren't popping corn and just going, and for that scene alone is 10 times more entertaining than anything in Alien Covenant. Yeah, but after that fiasco, Depp is just down on his luck, and he's literally in the pig slop, and he's just like, okay, I'll trade my compass that can point to anything. And for a bottle of whiskey. And apparently that starts the plot, even though it really doesn't, because
He's had this compass for so long, and it's pointed him to all these great things, allegedly, that of course never ends up getting or benefiting from. I guess that's why he trades it. Now that it kind of fixed my own question there, I guess.
my favorite part about that entire sequence, though, is that apparently that's what starts Javier Bardem's ship from freeing itself from the Devil's Triangle, and like, yes, now we're gonna go kill Johnny Depp. But even though that act never really does anything necessarily, it's like, I mean, if you needed an event to basically say that, and this is why Javier Bardem is able to go after Johnny Depp, even though logically speaking he should have gone after Johnny Depp back in 4 movies ago.
Devil's Triangle is this place where all these ships get wrecked. Nothing like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, but my problem with that is that how do you deal with that dangling plot thread by the end? All that happens is that the guy who took the compass just puts it in his little stash. Then all of a sudden, the witch character has it in her, saying like, "I have my ways," and then
you do.
Oh, you do, huh?
What other ways do you have?
Will we see them? No. Well, then go fuck yourself. And then it's just at the end of the movie, he gets his compass back, even though he says like, "You betrayed the compass, and the devils are going to come after you." They don't. I mean, unless the devils in death are just Javier Bardem's crew. But that just seems...
don't you remember it was written in that one, that paper they found, the scroll, that said that if a monkey hands it back to you, that you're okay.
I guess since they broke the lance, that means all maritime curses are gone. But my question then becomes, like, all right, were Javier Bardem's crew supposed to be the curse that's going to come after Johnny Depp for betraying the compass? But if that were true, wouldn't they go after him regardless of what he did with the compass?
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why they wanted the compass in the first place is so that they have a means to get their hands on Johnny Depp. But since all they know that he has the compass anyway, so wouldn't that just mean that if you find the compass, you find Johnny Depp? So it just seems like it just feels like the compass is just there. Like, it doesn't matter. The compass doesn't really fucking matter. And additionally, when we learn about his backstory, how the fuck does he even know what the compass does? He didn't even know Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
He just saw Jack Sparrow on a crow's nest flapping about, and he just thinks, oh, he's like a sparrow. That's how he got his name, apparently.
I guess he has his ways.
And somehow he knew that he had a compass. Somehow. I have no fucking clue how he knew he had that magical compass. Like, again, like, this movie is easily this year's king of the cosmic fucking bending, plot convenience.
Again, coming off of Alien Covenant.
I'd say it's even worse than Alien Covenant.
That's what I mean. Coming off of Alien Covenant, this is the most contrived script.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. Yeah. Look at Alien Covenant, and just like, you thought that was convenient. Yeah. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer, Alien Covenant. Here comes another 2.5 hours of what the fuck.
And from the point of where they tried to escape, execution. Oh, by the way, Depp runs into Paul McCartney as his uncle Jack.
Yeah, we saw a poster showing that Paul McCartney was going to be pirated up, kind of implying that he was going to be an actual character
instead of just a
guy in another one of those,
like, oh look, it's Paul McCartney.
Yeah, just a guy in a prison cell.
Yeah, and I thought that the movie was starting to get its legs during the execution scene because another inventive...
I'm sorry, not to say that I wanted more, but yes.
But like, if you're going to use them, You got a fucking Beatle. They used Keith Richards in the third movie more than they used Paul McCartney.
But yeah, go on.
But the execution scene was another step in the right direction, I thought, of this movie, because we had another inventive action scene involving Johnny Depp attached to a guillotine, and he's being rotated, and like during a cannonball incident, he's basically on like this axle, and so the guillotine is kind of fluttering up and down depending on where the gravity is.
Gravitational. Yeah.
And like, ah!
Just get this close up of his head constantly. Ah!
And like,
dance, Johnny Depp, dance.
And it's like, that's another inventive scene. That's another visual. That's another fun little bit of like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Scene in this movie. I was like, all right, fine. I got a little jive to it. Step. We can finally, step to this movie, and that's it. Really.
Yep.
That's really the last time one of those happened. And the remaining 2 hours of this movie is just this long, arduous trek through, like, oh, Captain Barbossa is trying to find Jack Sparrow because, you know, because Javier Bardem apparently has this murder boner for pirates, and he's trying to save his own skin. And
why did they have to throw those undead sharks overboard? Why didn't they just keep them in the water, have them fall off?
I don't know. The dead get tired. I mean, that's why it's called, dead tired. Yeah, they have like these dead sharks that get reanimated, like kind of like those little shrinky dinks that you put inside the water that absorb.
Like the same thing that happened to the boat, the Black Pearl.
Yeah, what happened to the Black Pearl? Apparently, the Black Pearl comes back. Everyone, woo! By the end of the movie, after the lowest point in the script, where they arrive on land in the middle of nowhere, and they just happen to run into this weird. It's not quite a cannibal island, but it's like this weird pirate island.
It's just another pirate island.
It's just another pirate island where...
And then they have this weird, awkward bit where they... So he runs into another pirate that he owes a favor to. And apparently the only thing that what this pirate's been waiting for all this time is to have Johnny Depp show up so that he can marry his ugly wife to him.
Sister. Might have also been his wife.
Sister.
Might have also been his wife and sister. These are pirates we're talking about. And
oops.
It's another cringe-inducing scene. Just so, like, we get it. She's ugly. Johnny Depp doesn't want to marry an ugly woman. Can we hurry this up?
We haven't seen this scene before anywhere.
Can we hurry this up? Can we hurry this up? Can we hurry this up? And then finally, Jeffrey Rush just shoots one of the pirates and everyone scatters. And it's like, well, that was fucking necessary. Just like the Royal English Navy in this movie, where they just decide, all right, we're going to get Poseidon's Lance too. Yeah. And they're just literally moments later where they catch up to the Black Pearl. By the way, Black Pearl, supposedly the fastest ship in the sea, not when the script doesn't want them to be.
Yeah.
The Royal
Fleet is just on their ass.
The Royal Navy is just on their ass. Then all of a sudden, Javier Bardem's ship just comes out of nowhere and just smashes the ship, completely obliterating the whole point of the Royal Navy, as well as the witch character.
Oh, and what was it? The Silent Mary, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Silent
the Bloody Mary, I think, or something like that.
Either the Bloody Mary or the Silent Mary. But anyway, their ship turns into like a centipede.
Yeah.
I'm saying that out loud. Yeah, so it does that, and it devours your ship pretty much. And it also has, the bow of the ship has, a lady on it, a maiden, and she becomes like, Clash of the Titans statue comes off of it. And
yeah, it's like there are elements within the movie that really speak to how creative the series can be.
Yeah.
But they're in the middle of
the executions.
Yeah, but they're in the middle of the worst kind of self-gratifying dialogue. Like every time when like the two obnoxious leads are trying to bounce off each other, it's always like, "Why don't you apologize?
No, you apologize.
Apologize for what? For being right?" And blah. Like, I just fucking wanted to punch these two. Fucking just want to shut the fuck up. Nothing is more annoying than the smarty pants character whose only line of dialogue is either like, "Science can't explain it, therefore it's not true," or he's like,
"Excuse me while I scroll in my magic book."
Yeah, or just like every other dialogue out of her mouth is just like, "Are all pirates dumb? You dumb, ignorant motherfuckers, all of you!"
Shit. Oh God, they keep this. They have all these scenes where it's like, oh, she's a horologist, apparently. Was it chronology? Is that what it really is? Chronology? One's Greek, one's
Latin.
Yeah.
And chronology, I would say she says that she's a horologist. Just to make a cheap pun about like
just
whore.
Yeah.
Get it. Just to make.
So they have lots of bits about how she's a whore.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Oh, I'm an astronomer."
It's like,
so you study donkeys.
So you breed donkeys. No. Get it? Donkey show jokes. Also, I think they either missed the boat, I think they might have missed the boat because at one point in the script they say we're gonna have a blood moon tonight, and apparently we're gonna have a blood moon, and that's why she was able to use a ruby to look through her magic book and see the map.
No, I got the joke because you immediately told me.
But they didn't make any joke about it.
Yeah.
Which I felt like you're telling me that there's a magical map that only a woman could read.
Yeah.
That only happens on a special time of the moon's period where it turns blood red. Not a single period joke? Really?
You know what? You're right. Depp probably can't have a female villain in this.
No.
Yeah.
He just probably couldn't. It's like. I mean, I'm not saying that a period joke would have necessarily been welcomed, but if I could, in my sleep, see a period joke working right here, and you guys just don't even bother. I don't know, is it...
Would you really want to make a period joke?
I don't know, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're putting the idea of a period joke inside your viewer's head, isn't it just as bad as saying the period joke?
Menstruation jokes are just not funny, period.
I'm just going to let that silence hang for a little bit. There we go. Considering how erratically paced and just broken this plot is, there's nothing really left to say after everything we just said, because when you try to untangle I'm going to betray you, but I'm going to use you as bartering for this other guy, but I'm that's just typical pirate shit. They've been doing that since. Yeah, they've been doing that since the first.
Everything's got to have a barter in it somehow.
Yeah, like Paulins and something like that. They're like Paulin,
It's like, could you get me, could you fetch me my my rum? It's like, I barter you that if I fetch. Okay.
Yeah,
that's just how we talk.
Apparently, that's just how this plot frickin' operates. And I will. Once you get past the fact that Jeffrey Rush just kind of turned on both Javier Bardem because he just wants the staff of Uranus. I keep saying that staff of Poseidon. Trident. The MacGuffin to
that parts the sea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're getting biblical on us all of a sudden. But the end just becomes a maelstrom, an actual literal maelstrom, a literal maelstrom of what in the world is going on? Where apparently there's this rock of land that apparently perfectly mirrors the sky. And somehow or another, Barbossa knew something about it, or at least had the means of getting the map to it, but never really mentioned it up until now.
He had his ways.
And he left the book that apparently will guide them to the island with the ruby that allowed them to read through it because plot convenience much. And so they open the way to Poseidon's tomb. And meanwhile, Will Turner's son, I forgot the fuck about him too. I wish I could forget about him. Gets kidnapped by Javier Bardem, and then out of nowhere just says, "I'm going to possess him." Since when the fuck did you do that?
Yeah. Oh my god! This whole time you could do that? If you want to have living flesh so badly, why don't you just do that to begin with instead of this whole thing?
Well, he said he could only do it once because
good. Choose somebody who looks awesome. I don't know.
It's if you wanted so badly, you've been killing pirates also. Well, do you really want to switch bodies with ugly ass Jeffrey Rush looking pirates? I mean, if you look at Will Turner's son, he's the prettiest pirate he's probably ever seen.
So he's just been waiting this whole time to.
Yeah.
Well, then why did he leave it? When the staff was split and they apparently divide. So there's this the whole secret, phrase is divide and what was it divide and you'll be free or something like it.
Yeah, the point of the riddle is to break the staff and then
and
all
it's
the
nothing amazing. It's just break the staff. Oh, yeah, fuck. There's nothing that's poetic about that. It's
just break the staff. And even though these curses,
just being cryptic for the sake of annoyance.
Yeah, there's even though the curse apparently this trident has had, I say staff because looking at it, when you actually look at it, it looks more like a fucking staff.
Well, I mean Moses' staff on the ground parts the sea.
Yeah, like
It makes you think of a staff.
Yeah, it makes you. But like the point of, even though like all these curses, every single curse in this movie franchise could be attributed, or at least in direct control of this one freaking trident. Just break it and they all go away. Just magically go away, like the history eraser button. It's like, well, isn't that, goddamn fucking convenient? And so the whole they break the staff after Javier leaves Will's son's body for some reason, which I thought like he couldn't because he could only do it the once, but if he can leave the body, why can't he do it again? Oh, fuck it. Like the script's transparent attempt to try to explain away why he couldn't have done this before.
It's the kind of shit that gives fantasy tropes, bad names. It's just like, oh, you must get the stick, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so so they break the staff, all the curses are gone, and Barbossa is killed for the second time. Like, does anyone really believe that Barbossa's dead? I mean, you've already brought the character.
Care?
Barbossa's already been dead before. There's no reason why you can't bring him back again. Like, a lot of logic and consistency in this movie franchise.
Everything can be undone.
It's just gone out the fucking window.
Johnny Depp died, brought him back. Barbossa died, brought him back. Actually, Barbossa died twice, if you think about it, because he was already undead in the first movie. So, twice for him, really. It just, and it looks like Davy Jones might, also be making another return. Not a big surprise, really.
Not a big fucking surprise, but we'll get to. Actually, might as well just get to it now. When
I know I have a habit of doing that.
Yeah, but
probably because I don't give a shit in this case.
So, hip hip hooray, cake and ice cream for everyone, and Orlando Bloom is back on the dry sea, and Stellan Skarsgård can go fuck himself. And then we're thinking, well, they're probably going to get Keira Knightley back. But then it cuts to Keira Knightley.
Okay, framing this properly. They just coming off of the party in the sea scene,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, everything's settled, cool, we're all good. The two young lovers are on an island of some sort with a gong.
No, it was like a lighthouse. I think it was like.
Was that a lighthouse?
I think it was a lighthouse. It was supposed to be a lighthouse.
It's like a gong.
It was probably a lighthouse.
And it was just like, okay, random island. They have a couple annoying lines and kissy kiss, and then, oh my god, look, it's Orlando Bloom coming out of the water, walking up onto the island. Oh, it was the Flying Dutchman, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Flying Dutchman.
It's the Flying Dutchman. It's Orlando Bloom. Oh, Dad, this is great. Hug it out. But wait. Literally. But wait, who's that over there on the horizon? It's Keira Knightley.
Walking out of the woods like goddamn Sasquatch.
Just like the hills are alive in it. Like, running it.
It's like, what the fuck was she doing in the woods?
What the fuck? What island are you on? Where did he come from with the Flying Dutchman? Where the fuck was she? Holy shit!
Keira Knightley was just plain lost without Orlando Bloom.
She was literally lost in the woods. What was she doing all this time?
Like all of a sudden her Orlando senses were tingling. And she's like, is she back? Is she back? Even though she was...
I exist only for this moment.
For somebody who's probably been lost in the woods for years...
Looks great.
Looks great.
Hasn't aged a bit, even though she, at this point, would be apparently like 50 or something.
Yeah, she'd be 20 years older. Yeah. According to the timeline, she would have to be in her 50s at least, or being generous, her mid-40s.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know what? Yeah, because we all know that people in the 17th century aged beautifully.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially if they became pirates for a while. That dialed it back at least 10 years on their age.
Absolutely. And then the after credit sequence is just Orlando Bloom having a nightmare about Davy Jones. About to kill him in his bed,
but then look under the bed, and Davy Jones is under there. No, I was really... I knew it wouldn't, but...
It would have been funny if Davy Jones was just under the bed, just kind of like...
All this time, you were afraid of me, and you looked under your bed to see if I was there, and I was.
But, no, it was just, a little barnacle
just
and some
a couple barnacles. Could mean that Davy Jones is coming back, or he's going to inherit the curse, or it could mean anything. It could mean anything, because barnacles are everywhere in these movies.
So I don't know how in the world you can like explain away how Davy Jones came back, but like I said, in this series, anything can fucking happen. And that was Pirates 5.
Are you sure that you enjoyed this more than...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed this more
than...
than...
you can surely understand with my
personal...
yeah.
This felt just as bad as I thought Ghost in the Shell would have been. Like, as far as that, betrayal is concerned.
Well, it wasn't like that for me, because, I got betrayed a long time ago.
I know, but...
This would be like Ghost in the Shell 5 or something.
Regardless, that's, it's not, like... Whereas Alien Covenant was sort of, like, surprising? Not quite surprising, but, like there was still a glimmer of hope that they could pull one out, and they didn't. But here, it was like, okay, it's not like this doesn't belong in a Pirates movie, or as I remember them being, but it's just got a whole lot more dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been...
not fun dumb.
Yeah, 10% of it was fun. The other 90% was just, feeling like getting punched in the head. That was real dumb. Just really, really, really dumb. That's all I'll say about it, actually.
Every single point in their script where they had to come up with something, they just decided magic. Oh, Javier can now possess things. Fixed. Next scene.
Like, how do we get the Royal Navy to where we need them to be? Why do we need the Royal Navy to be there? Quick, a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie has the narrative cohesion of, like, Teflon paper and bubble wrap.
And what normally in a movie like that makes it, watchable is the exciting, action-y, dumb fun.
Yeah.
That's like, okay,
we got
the plot wasn't the strong point of this film, but something else was. But but there really wasn't.
Yeah, like the two scenes at the beginning, but nothing else after.
Yeah,
just nothing. I needed more scenes like that if I was going to watch 2.5 hours of this kind of bullcrap. But since I don't, it's just. I mean, what is there left to say at this point?
A lot of CG.
And and
then there's CG Johnny Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Young Johnny Depp.
Young Johnny Depp, which, granted, doesn't look too terrible.
You can almost probably just pull off Johnny Depp looking young with makeup. I mean, I don't like to throw him any praise here, but yeah, I mean, he has aged well.
Yeah, he's aged well, but the CG is there when you can fucking see it. Like, half the shots of the CG were always in, like, pitch black night or in dark, deep water. Mm-hmm. So all you see are shadows half the time. And it got to the point where I just felt like, why am I even trying to follow what's going on? I'm just going to I just entered Transformers mode. I'm just not going to let it try to dictate what my brain... It's sort of like a movie like that taxes your brain to the point of, actual legitimate exhaustion, and the only way you could protect yourself against that is just to not engage whatsoever. You are just, you are the passive audience. Otherwise, your brain is going to melt right out of your ears. And that's at that point when you're asking me to follow these, 5 or 10 characters that are down in the underwater where everything is so goddamn dark you can't see anything and they're all thrashing about. That's where I just go Transformers mode, activate.
Javier Bardem, they did not deserve you.
But they had...
But I'm glad you looked like you had some fun, so I'm glad you did. I mean, I can understand. I could see that. It's like, I get to, run around in blue paint so you can green screen me or whatever.
Yeah, I will say, the digital effects on Javier Bardem and his crew were actually kind of neat.
Yeah, he looks like he's underwater all the time, even though he's not, the hair and everything.
Yeah, that looks neat. I mean,
it takes away from his, presence. Anything that, any CG takes away from a person's presence. But in his case, well, he actually did a pretty good job of standing out, even though they had a lot of...
He acted through it.
He acted through it. But it's funny because he's scarier without any effects.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone's seen No Country for Old Men, call it. Well, I need to know what I stand.
I need to know what I stand to lose.
You stand to win everything. You just didn't know until now.
But that's just like any other coin.
Well, it isn't like any other coin, so you better keep it. It's your lucky coin. Or else it will just wind up with all the rest of the coins and it'll just become a coin. Which it is.
That sounds pretty reasonable to me.
My brother hated that movie.
Really?
Yeah, he really didn't like No Country.
Was it the ending he didn't like?
No. He hated the mumble acting.
Oh.
And that was kind of a mumblecore movie. That was the beginning of the explosion of how like intense performances are always delivered like.
I do know. I'm not a big fan of mumblecore. I mean, seeing how I'm a huge Peter O'Toole fan.
Mm-hmm.
Very enunciated.
Very enunciated.
Yes.
And very stentorian and authoritative.
Yes. No, it is not how we speak in real life in most cases, but damn is it legible.
I mean, like, you're going to be sacrificing verisimilitude for actual understanding. So, yeah, sacrifices are going to be for sacrifices, but regardless, that's this movie. Fuck it. Terrible, terrible movie. Not near, but helped along by the fact that I have Alien Covenant to parse this off.
And so do I. Yay.
Yeah.
Together, friends forever, we will be.
Yeah, god damn it. See you next week.